Hi guys, and welcome to the Fleetwood vs Sunderland match review. Now, Sunderland have just drawn 1-1 against Joey Barton's Fleetwood away from home in yet again frustrating circumstances. But I'll get straight into it this time because last week I just kind of went on a rampage, swearing, shouting, which I might do a little bit, but I'll try and do somewhat of a review this time. As soon as that final whistle went, I literally just had to chill out because I know for a fact that if I sat in front of the microphone straight after that 90 minutes, it would have just been me on a rampage. So I've made myself a brew, I've calmed down for a minute and gathered my thoughts a little bit. So going into the game, we set up with Matthews again in goal. We had McLaughlin, Bailey Wright and Flanagan as the back three. Now again, my issue with that was when you have a perfectly capable centre-back in Dion Sanderson on the bench, why are you forcing, again, he's obsessed with putting players out of position, is Phil Parkinson. Why is McLaughlin playing centre-back? And don't get me wrong, I don't even think he played particularly badly this evening, and I don't actually think the defenders, or at least the back three, were terrible by any stretch this evening, apart from the goal in which we conceded. I think generally they were alright, but that's by the by. You're putting a player out of position for what seems to be no particular reason. So you've got those back three. You've got O'Neill as right wing back, Denver Hume left wing back. You've got Scowen and Ledbetter in the middle with Maguire pushing just in front. With Danny Graham starting up top with Charlie White. Now we're getting into the game. First 15 minutes or so I thought we looked decent. Pretty high tempo. We were making chances. We were pressing them. There was a chance very, very early on. Danny Graham actually intercepted a goalkeeper's mistake on the right hand side. All he had to do was put it on a plate for Charlie White. But the pass is pretty poor, which gave it a bit too direct, a little bit behind Charlie White, which gave the Fleetwood defender an opportunity to kind of bundle the ball away. So that was the first sort of little chance we did get. But then another chance, Denver Hume sort of battled his way and wrestled his way into the Fleetwood box on the left-hand side, as he does. And he's driven it at the near post, and the keeper's managed to keep it out of his goal. So at that point, I thought, okay, we're actually doing all right here. It's still the usual stuff in terms of the plan A is get it out wide, and that's all we did for the majority of the game. Whenever we could, it was just triangles out wide, and then lump it forward. If not, put it back to the defence, and that was it, because the centre is off limits for some reason with the Sunderland team. But then after the first 15-20 minutes, as I say, it kind of calmed down. It turned into a very scrappy affair, both teams hoofing it, and at times Fleetwood, it almost made me giggle at the way they were hoofing the ball. Every time they got it, it was hoof it. And it was laughable. It was proper Sunday League shit, and they looked terrible. I was almost disappointed, which I don't usually say, because, you know, we're playing a team who at the time were above us, and I'm thinking, right, okay, we're going to be in for it tonight. And they were so bad. It was awful to watch. It was proper Sunday League tactics. Hoof the ball, see what happens. And we dealt with it, by and large, for the majority, and they didn't test Matthews at all. But then after that opening 15-20 minutes, like I say, we didn't really test them either. So it was a really, really poor first half. But the second half comes into play. They make a sub. Joey Barton makes a substitute for Fleetwood. He brings on Ched Evans, who we know what he's about. He's a strong lad. He's a nuisance, and he did prove to be exactly that throughout the second half. But when I mentioned that substitute, more so because I'm going to have to say it again. Phil Parkinson absolutely screwed us over yet again with the substitute. So, like I say, they bring on Ched Evans. They needed something up top. They needed an outlet, because it was clear that all they were doing was hoof it football. That's pretty, not even clever management. It's just common sense. Joey Barton has seen the issue. All they're doing is hoof it football. They may as well put a target man up top. And it worked. The second half, you could tell that Joey Barton at half-time, he must have really got into his players, and said, you know, get stuck in, be a bit more aggressive, be a bit more forceful, get in the faces. And that's exactly what they did. And we just turned soft as shit. Absolute pussies. Every 50-50 they were winning. We're ducking out of certain challenges. Don't get me wrong, some of their challenges were fucking horrendous. There was a couple of elbows, one of them more so on Ledbetter, that was clear as day that the ref didn't give anything for. There was one chance where I thought Scowen was brought down in the box. It was 50-50 again, soft, but it wasn't given. But they were really, really physical with us, which I don't mind. I actually quite enjoy watching physical battles, but when you've got your team that have turned into a bunch of pussies that are getting battered, and they look like kids against men, it was boys against men in that second half for a lot of it. We just completely forgot how to play football, and they were terrified. A big bunch of pussies, like I say, that's all they were in that second half. So you could see that Fleetwood was slowly growing into the game. They still hadn't had a shot on goal yet, really. And we weren't really doing a massive amount either, apart from, again, it was triangles out wide either side, even as usual. I'm repeating myself every match review here. Surely Phil can see this. Surely Parkhurst can see this when he's looking back at game footage, which I'm sure he does. Well, at least hopefully he does. That there's always gaping holes in the middle, and we're never utilising it. Scowen, Ledbetter, it's immediately get it out wide, and Ledbetter, he's doing his job. He's picking out plays that are actually free out wide, and he's doing it very well. But I just wish we had the balls, or Parkinson would have the tactic of, if there is space in the middle, drive at them. Because Scowen had tried it a few times, but then it was almost like I've said in the previous match review again. It's almost something in his head like, oh shit, no, I've gone a bit too far here. I've gone a bit too deep in the middle, and I need to go out wide. That's what Parker tells me to do, and you can see it. You can see that he starts to panic as soon as he gets a bit too deep in their final third down the centre. They shit themselves. It's like, oh shit, no, I need to give it out to O'Nien, or I need to give it out to Hume. Just run at him, make him work. It was just shit. It was like they glitch out as soon as they get to a certain point down the middle, and they have to give it out wide when there's no need to. But anyway, like I say, you could see that Fleetwood were getting into the game. They were bullying us, like I say. They were pressing our final third, lumping balls into the box. And at this point, I would have been quite happy if we did start to make a few defensive substitutions, because they were battering us. So it would have made sense to maybe bring off a Danny Graham and bring in Power, who I'm not a massive fan of. I've said it a million times, but it would have made sense through another body in midfield to defend, or at least solidify that midfield a little bit more. Just get bodies in the middle to make us more formidable at the back, or at least defensively. But no, we brings on Will Grigg when we didn't look like scoring in the first place. But we did score prior to that. I actually forgot to mention the one opportunity we really did have leading up to the Will Grigg substitution was a ball, hoofed ball, of course, over the top. It was just bouncing, and Charlie White, quite bravely to be fair, he goes up with the keeper, the Fleetwood keeper, to go for the ball. He manages to beat him to it and nods it past him to make it 1-0. And exactly like I say, this is the point where Fleetwood really were getting at us. So a substitution like a Max Power or any other kind of midfield option, chuck him in there, give us some energy, not even necessarily attacking, because I could see the way it was going. I could see the way the game was going. You could see that an equalizer was coming at this point, but he's brought on Will Grigg. And then Fleetwood on 70 minutes, bringing another 3 subs. So at this point, they've made 4 substitutions, which was right to do so. They were in the ascendancy. So Joey Barton, again, has seen what needs to be done on the pitch and brought players on. As much as I hate the bastard, he's doing the right things, Joey Barton. So we brought on the 3 subs, and they're just piling it on, absolutely piling it on. And it was just scramble after scramble after scramble in our box. And, of course, it eventually hits the back of the net. It's a terrible scramble. First, we do actually manage to get away the first scramble, but defensively, this is the point where we did look very, very poor, very shaky. Players all over the place, but it does fall to the Fleetwood man who buries it to make it 1-1. So at this point, you have to go for it. You have to go for it. Of course, before I said defensively, because, defensive substitutions bring them on, because that is what we needed at the time. But now we need to go back for the win. So what does Parkinson do? He doesn't make a sub straight away. He doesn't make one on the 75th minute, or the 80th minute, or the 85th minute. The 87th minute, he brings on Max Power and McFadden. He has no fucking idea what he's doing, this man. Absolutely no idea. He's a spectator. He's not a manager. It's absolute bollocks is what it is. It was terrible. Don't get me wrong, the players need to, take a lot of responsibility for that, because it was shit, particularly in that second half. But he is a spectator, that man. Joey Barton there, he made all 5 of his subs by I think it was the 80th minute in the end, and we'd made 1. And so, what is Parkinson doing? I have no idea what it was a joke. I was screaming at my TV watching that game, because it was such a joke. It was so clear what had to be done. He's not even a reactive manager. He just doesn't do anything. I have no idea what he brings. He can't motivate the players. He sure as hell doesn't know what to do tactically, because there's only one plan A, and his substitutes are non-existent. And when he does make them, they make no fucking sense. So it's 1-1. It's another shit result, a shit performance on the whole. Will Grigg missed a sitter as well, which it just comes with the territory. You don't get a Will Grigg game without seeing a sitter missed. Ball pinged into him, back post, free header, and he's just made a right hash of it and headed it over the bar. So it's 1-1. Poor performance. Parky needs to go, because I don't know where to go from it, because these match reviews are going to be exactly the same. They're going to be copy and pasted up until, or if he does go. Because surely the likes of Stuart Donald, even though he's a knobhead himself, at the top, all the hierarchy in general, can see that Parky is not the man. It's garbage. But in terms of a man of the match, I don't really think I can give one, because again, it was just shit. So now I think we've dropped down to 8th, I believe, and it's just not good enough. I think it's 8th anyway. I can't be arsed checking my phone. But anyway, you guys let me know down below what you thought of the game. It was your man of the match, if you can think of one. And are you Parky in or Parky out? And I can't imagine seeing a Parky in comment down below unless you're taking the piss. But if you have somehow enjoyed this, please hit the like button and all that nonsense. And I'll see you later.